The internet likes to compare us for some reason.
Well, it's because we're so similar.
What do you think these reasons are?
I think it's a beard thing.
It's beard?
It's a beard thing.
Maybe our pigment?
I never thought that once.
On today's episode, we have the Triple Crown winner, the stud, the Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, Cooper Kupp, talking 2021 NFC Championship between the San Francisco 49ers and his Los Angeles Rams.
It's a great win against a terrible opponent that they've had our number for a few years.
And this is kind of the turning point of that.
It's tipped. It's intercepted.
I remember looking up at the score and be like, gosh, I'm so glad it's not 28-3. I remember being like, gosh, I'm so glad it's not 28-3. I want to talk about something.
What do you want to talk about?
The shirt that you're wearing.
What's this? Oh, this shirt. This whole thing? Oh, this whole thing? Games with Names is a production of iHeartRadio. Welcome to Games with Names. I'm Julian Edelman. They're Jack and Kyler, and we're on the mission to find the greatest game of all time. On today's episode, we have Cooper Kupp talking the monkey off the back game.
That's right.
2021 NFC Championship between the San Francisco 49ers and his Los Angeles Rams.
He's a Super Bowl MVP, Triple Crown winner, wide receiver. He doesn't need any credentials. That's
No.
fucking
Beast.
Cooper Kupp.
Numbers galore. Numbers galore. There's barbecues galore, that store. And then there's Coop Kupp with numbers galore.
Stat sheet stuffer.
And just a student of the game.
He is. He really is.
I mean, we get into that.
Grinder.
We dive into that. We dive into the San Francisco LA rivalry. We dive into how everyone compares us.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Find out.
Find out.
We'll find out. What do you think? We'll find out. We'll find out. And we also what it's like starting a coffee company.
Entrepreneur.
This
a beansman.
This is an entrepreneur. Huh?
He's a beansman.
He's a beansman. He knows those beans.
DodoCoffee.co.
And we got some content coming afterwards where, I mean, he's got a particular way of making his coffee. He's
He
a
sure
coffee
does.
connoisseur.
We were busy
He's a
roasting
wa-
Tom Brady. He's busy roasting some Ethiopian beans.
No, these were Guatemalan beans.
Oh, Guatemalan. Pardon my.
These are
pardon
Guatemalan
me.
beans. And then the road to his first Super Bowl where he balled out and had an MVP type game.
And you lost $50,000.
And I lost $50,000.
Light work. Light work.
Light work. And then we'll wrap it up with hitting the old hotline. It'll be fun. Check it out.
Great
Let's
one.
go. Let's go. January 30th, 2022. SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California.
The Los Angeles Rams trailed the San Francisco Niners 17-7 heading into the fourth quarter.
But with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line, do Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp have another comeback in them? This is the 2021 NFC Championship game.
Oh, that's great.
Welcome to Games with Names. Today we have a very special guest. We have the Triple Crown winner, the stud, the Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, Cooper Kupp in studio in the Nut House today. Welcome to the studio, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Jack. That's Kyler. And why you picked this game, Bubs?
Yeah, I think this is a good one. I know you've gone over some other games, that year with Whitworth. That one's covered. I mean, this is a good one. It's a great win against a terrible opponent that you just love to be able to pull one up. Now, let's be fair. They've had our number for a few years.
And this is kind of the turning point of that.
Yeah, I mean that was we won the one that was meaningful, the one that we needed to win. We got it done.
So hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year.
Yeah.
So hard.
Have you done it before?
I think we did it a couple times.
Okay.
But then we also lost a couple times where we smoked the Jets twice, and then week 1 we were 14-2. And then we blew them out 2 weeks before.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go first round of the playoffs. The can't wait game. Fucking Bart Scott. Can't wait. They beat us in Foxborough. That shit sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was similar. We had them the last game of the year that
Yeah.
year, and that was we were playing for the division title. End up losing that game in overtime, but winning the division. Talk about weird, like, conflicted feelings.
I hate that shit.
It was.
Whenever, like, we've had a couple of those where we were in Miami and we lose the game and you're pissed off, but they pass out the hat and
Oh, yeah.
T-shirt
And
because
like,
someone else won. You're like,
they give you the hand, you just throw the hat in your bag. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to see this thing right now.
oh.
That's tough. It's a tough feeling.
It's a great feeling to have, though, if you're in that situation, Coop, because a lot of people have never been in that even
Oh, yeah.
situation,
Oh,
ever.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you appreciate it, but it's just in that moment, like, you just laid it all on the line to go win a game.
Yeah.
Lose.
Especially a division
Yeah,
opponent.
exactly.
It's the worst. You
In
play-
overtime, heading into the playoffs. It was,
And you guys had that thing where, like, hey, Kyle Shanahan owned us for a while. Is the whole McVay Shanahan thing. I mean, I'm in media, so we talk about it nauseum.
yes,
Did I use that word right?
that was really good.
Dude, I've been
Nice.
working on my thesaurus. How's offseason been going?
It's been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is probably my first off season. Having a full off season and being healthy out the gate where I can go and just train how I want to. Really, since the end of 2020 going into 21 was the last time I had a full off season, and so having that's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't. You can't put enough value on just that time and the preparation it takes to get your body right to go make this push.
Yeah, well, to put in context, what people don't realize is when you're banged up in an off season, you're not getting better. You're trying to get to where you were at, and the league is so smart that you have to reinvent yourself every off season because there's film of how you've played the year before. So it really takes a hamper in like your off season gains.
Yes.
When you're hurt, because
yeah.
you're trying to get to zero.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're not putting anything on top. So
Oh yeah, no. I've spent the last 4 years training with the same group.
Yeah.
Had the same trainer who actually this off season was hired by Atlanta. So thanks to Raheem for taking my trainer who can no longer program for me. He's playing level 501 ball over there in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, draft analysts might would say something different, but we'll move past that.
Draft.
We're going to talk about that right now. But
They took him over Bill.
yeah, they did.
It's crazy.
But what I was touching on was the off season.
Yeah,
We're getting on these rabbit trails. Off season. I've been training with these guys for 4 years. When you get to the end of the season, you go back and you hit your baseline that first week, right? And it's like you don't realize how much your body breaks down through the course of a season. Where that off season you start so far from where you went into the season because there's just no way. Like you try to maintain things as you go.
Yeah.
It's dang near impossible. You play these long seasons and your body's so broken down. There's so much just to build up, like you said, just to get back to where you were physically, and then all the armor you got to put on to prepare yourself, all the conditioning, the things you got to do to create some change in your body to be able to take the adaptation from this offseason going into OTAs and say, okay, now we're gonna grind through OTAs. Then you get 1 month to basically gear up for training camp in a 17-game season.
Yeah.
Plus playoffs, and so it's a big deal. But yeah, man, I feel really good.
That's awesome. Now, what are some of the point of emphasis you have going into this offseason to your game? Now that you're healthy, you can self-scout, you can check out what you need to work on. What's some of the things that you are trying to get better at?
Yeah, I mean, I think the same mantra into every year. It's the bigger, faster, stronger. I think the mobility side of things has been a huge piece. Just being like coming off of the ankle surgery a couple of years ago, things that come out of that. I mean, I think you get hurt, and especially something as low to the ground as an ankle, how it affects things up the chain, and you start compensating. And once your body starts compensating, things start tightening, things start loosening. There's just you want to get your body back into balance and moving the way it's supposed to. Because I think professional athletes, we are professional at compensating and working through injury. When you do that, your that's not optimum, right? So
it leaves you vulnerable to get
exactly.
hurt.
And so it's pulling back and finding what that optimum is. Again, that's been the big focus, just in terms of how I want my body to work, and then in terms of skill wise, as you're moving through into the technical side of the game. There's so much that you want to. You watch film, and I think every year you look back and you're like, oh man, there's just so much you can do better. So many things, so many details that you can press yourself on, and like, what kind of tools can you add to your tool belt as counters to what worked? Like, what worked? How are people going to stop it? How do I counter that?
Yeah, and you're in the point of your career where you could watch film and you can go practice off a specific look of how it may not have went your way, and you could put that and play that game in your mind, and you're probably at the point where you're running routes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
You're running
yeah,
routes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
You get better playing football.
Yep, exactly. I mean, I think there's a few different steps to that. It's like the visualization side of things, of where you're like, I know my wife knows that I'm laying in bed and suddenly I'll just be like, pow, flinch out. I was like, okay, what were you doing there? Like, what was happening? Like, yeah, I got to take. I was running this route. The safety was driving down. It's real. It's like you get to this point where you're visualizing things to the point where your body is like reacting to it, and you're going. And you take the next step, and now we're OTAs. We're running routes on air. And we don't run routes on air just to run routes on air. Like, there's an intent behind what you're doing. You're seeing, hey, this is how this DB is playing us. Let's run this route. And talk to Matthew. Like, hey, this 3 carry. It's a tight carry outside. Like, how do we want to run this route on this one? What angles are we coming out at? So now you're running routes on air and you're visualizing these things. So now when it does come time that you're competing, you've seen that. You've seen it. You've visualized it. You've felt all those steps that you're going to take. You've seen how he's going to play and react to each move you're going to do. At that point, once you're playing the game, it's like, man, I've taken this rep over and over and over again already.
What we used to call that? Deja vu. You practice so much, once you do in the game, it's like deja vu.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's a great feeling, too.
It is. What people don't realize, the amount of reps you put into a play for it to work, because there's like 20 different looks you can have. And when you practice it and you rep it over and over, with a intent, like Cooper said, and you use those reps, once you get to game day, it's in your subconscious.
Yep.
So once you can react faster and you get to use your athleticism more.
Exactly.
Because once you know what's coming, then that's when techniques and your superpowers get to come out.
Exactly. When your mind's on, your body's off a lot of the time, right? When you can get to the point where your mind's seen it so much that that's now subconscious. Sean McVay calls it unconscious competence, right?
Unconscious competence.
Unconscious competence.
I bet you he's got some sayings. What other sayings does he have? He's got some fucking sayings.
Yeah,
I know
does.
him.
He's
all riled up all day.
You gotta let him come natural. I can't just start pulling him out of thin air.
Yeah, we got
that.
just keep it in the back. So we had this rep right here. Keep that in your subconscious. If something comes along in this next part of the interview,
I'll flag it.
Flag it.
Yep.
Cooper, did you say that you like would wake up like dreaming about reps?
Oh yeah, no, this isn't just about dreaming. This is like full on like I'm awake, laying in bed, and I'm just visualizing. Like it's playing so clearly in my head what's happening that my body's reacting to what's happening in those moments. And it's honestly become a problem to the point where it's like, gosh, if we're like, my wife's like laying on me and I'm daydreaming or something like that, like she can get like boom, I move and she like her head's popping up off my shoulder. It's a problem. So we've had to figure out how to balance those things a little bit so that we're not hurting each other.
I was gonna say illegal hands to the face.
Illegal hands to the face
It's a
right
problem.
there. Easy.
That's Jules. That's pretty plugged in. Have you ever been that plugged in? You're dreaming about it. You're thinking about it when you're lying down.
I never had a wife, so I couldn't tell you that. But I mean, you definitely, when you're walking down the hallways, you're working releases. You see one of your teammates in the hallway. You're passing by a fucking guy. You're using hands.
Yeah, hands always.
I mean, you're on all day long.
Yeah.
That's what people don't realize. You don't become the Triple Crown winner, a fucking Super Bowl MVP, and have the numbers that this guy had without doing shit like that. That's like some Jerry Rice shit. Like, on God, that's crazy. Who you throwing with right now? You throwing with anyone? Matt?
With Matthew.
Any Jimmy Goo-Wop?
Yeah.
You throw a Jimmy Goo-Wop?
Throw Jimmy a little bit.
How's Jimmy been doing?
He's been good.
Is it awkward now that he's with you guys?
No, we don't touch on it too much. We just let him be. Just kind of let it be what it is.
He's a fun teammate.
He is. No, he is. He's been great, and it's been really fun throwing with him. He's grabbing the offense. Like, there's so much new terminology. Like, as close as Shanahan and McVay are with some of the offenses.
It's the same shit.
It's a lot of the same stuff. But terminology is completely different.
Yeah.
So the details, all that stuff, he's just got a lot going through his head right now. But I mean, he's good. He was out there, running the offense the other day, and Doing good.
Awesome. Now, I swear, we used to throw back when you threw with Goff.
Yes.
And we threw was I there the first day you were with Matthew? Or
I wasn't there when you were.
I threw with Matthew one day.
Yeah, I wasn't there with you for that one.
I could have sworn you were there. What was that
I
like?
think so.
That whole situation when you went? Like, do you have any Matthew stories?
Oh, you Matthew stories?
Yeah. About when he came in, like, how was that? Because when you had a starting quarterback, you go to the Super Bowl, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
And you probably have relationships. It's the National Football League. Players and coaches leave every year, but it's hard because the whole business aspect.
It is hard. I think coming in that first OTAs coming off of going into the 2021 season, OTAs got pushed back. We're coming off of COVID stuff. OTAs, I don't think we show up until May. Matthew had just come off thumb surgery, I believe, when he had gotten traded to us. So first week of OTAs, we show up. He's at this point only thrown like the squishy Nerf ball, like a tiny kid's squishy Nerf ball is like all he's done. And that first day of OTAs, Sean's like, "All right, here we go. Let's get some routes." And I think it was kind of everyone. I think it was kind of like, well, he's not like technically he's not ready for that yet. Like we're supposed to kind of we gotta wait. But Matthew is like competitive. He's new team. Coach is saying, "Hey, let's go throw routes." And he's like, "All right, let's go throw routes." And he couldn't have thrown. I mean, we go through a full session with everyone. He throws 75 balls, and I don't know if a single one touched the ground. Like it's just in your chest, pop, 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 pop. Everything. And we just call, and that's like when it started. We just call them long handoffs now.
Yeah.
When he gets going, it's like you're throwing 25-yard deep outs to the field, and that's just a long handoff.
Now, which people think like, oh, pro quarterback, pro receiver, routes on air should always be 100%.
Yeah.
We've been over at that Going West with some quarterbacks where you're 28 for 37. Like, what are we doing, Bubs? But I remember I threw with Matthew that day, one of those days, and we hadn't even met each other. I think he just got off the plane. I think we went like 45 or 45, and he could judge you in the air, and because that's where you can miss a guy.
Yes.
He's on a deep ball.
Yep.
He's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with him is I think his like one of the best arm talents. I mean, there's very few that throw the ball. I would dare say there's no one that throws the ball the way that Matthew does. And I think what separates him is obviously, the arm angles, all different stuff, the no looks, being able to throw on any platform, whatever. But he can truly, he's making his decision as the ball's coming out of his hand. Like he's making adjustments until
Ball's
there.
out.
Like the ball, like he's dialed into it where he knows all that stuff, right? Every point of his throwing motion, that ball's he's adjustments right until that thing comes off his pointer finger.
So that's his superpower.
I think that's just. Well, I mean, he's got a lot. A lot that he's got going for him. Obviously, like the ability to process is phenomenal, and not just pre-snap process, but being able to post-snap, know what's happening, move, make throws. I think that is why he's been able to do what he's done is because of his ability. He's not an athlete. As much as he wants to tell you like he was an athlete, he's not an athlete. But he knows how to move in that pocket so well and be able to buy, a split second of time here or there. And he sits in there and will take a shot, but he's going to get that ball exactly where he wants to go.
Yeah. I mean, and he's tough.
He's tough.
He's tough. You remember when we used to throw together?
I do.
What year were you in there?
That was, I believe, that was going into 19 maybe, 19 or 20.
I was old.
Yeah, you just really gotten into yoga.
Was I telling you about yoga?
Yeah, we talked a lot about yoga.
You do yoga?
I wouldn't say I do yoga now.
Jesus, didn't touch the right spot, I guess.
No,
Not old enough yet.
Well, no, yeah.
What else do we talk about?
No, I'm telling you, we talked about yoga a lot.
A lot.
There's a lot of yoga, but no, we did touch on some stuff. I think one of the things that we talked about was, and there's a time for this. I feel like it's more for like a certain kind of receiver that can do it, but you would do a lot of the almost jump stop routes, right? Like we talked a lot about how you get up to 10 and you guys would run stuff where you'd run the basic 10-yard in or like the 10-yard out, and then you have the 10-yard basic to the corner. Yeah. Right. And you talked a lot about being able to like change your tempo at the top of routes to be able to do that stuff. And a lot of stuff you're doing with your feet square.
Yeah.
Which for me is a new thing where I get to routes and I never wanted to be like my feet. I never want my feet on a surfboard, right?
Yeah.
Like I wanted to always be staggered in some capacity. And
I was always different. I ran unorthodox. That was because of Wes. Wes used to do that, where you get on their toes
you just pop.
and you just explode to whatever they don't do. So you're reacting. You know what I mean? Then by then, because of reaction, you create separation.
Yeah, and really to me, so like
A certain body type, you know what I mean? Body type.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because I think it lends itself. I'm not saying you're small, but in the NFL, you're a smaller receiver, right? So like that body, like those guys that are, your superpower is quicker. You're quicker than whoever's going to be guarding you.
Yeah.
Getting to the point where you can have both feet in the ground and have power off both feet. At the line of scrimmage, I use a come to balance release all the time, where I bring both feet, boom, immediately right to come to balance. So now it's just like playing basketball, right? And I can go either way I want to, react off of. As soon as I make that sudden move, like bang, both feet are together, DB's gonna react, and now I got both feet to be able go two-way go. You're doing the same thing except you're doing it at the top of the route, right? But there's an emphasis now on the fact that you are now in a sequence of the route. Your quarterback is now hitched, and you've got to make that decision now and go, because that next hitch, the ball's out.
Yeah.
So there's like, when it happens early, I can now adjust it through my route. I'm like, okay, I took too much time at the line of scrimmage. I got to speed up here. Yeah. You're making that decision at the top of the route. There's like, you've got to be right. Yeah. And you and Wes obviously were the best at doing that and made a living on it.
But it would change. That'd only be a man covered route.
Oh yeah.
So Tom was always good at reading us, and the countless steps or reps that we had in the offseason, he knew which way we were going to go. You know what I mean? Yep. Just through the technique of what the guy's giving me.
Yes.
So like that's that chemistry that I'm sure
you have to have. Yep.
Clearly you and Matthew are on.
Yeah.
Where you guys are finishing each other's sentences. And
it takes time.
It takes time.
When you guys would do routes on air, right? What would a routes on air session look like for you guys? Would you guys just do the route tree, or was it more in because I know
no.
Peyton was more like, we're doing 3 routes today.
No. Tom was a 2-minute drill. He would go when I'd come out here to LA, he would work me to death. And he would be like, all right, sub personnel, you're that. So sub personnel, 0 out slot fiend, ride 134 F bow ice. I had a 20-yard bow. All right, you're the Z now. Rangers. 2 flood slot.
Gotcha.
We'd go all the way down the field, and we would be in the red area, and we'd do red area stuff. Mulch. And then I'd score, and I'd be dying because it'd be like 8 straight routes. He wanted to work me. He wanted to see me when I was tired, and he wanted to see me think when I was tired. And so then I'd be dying, and he'd be like, all right, offsides. He'd make me come back and do more shit. Like, he was like a full coach out there.
Yeah.
But it made you think while you were tired and you were processing. And then sometimes, if I was in the slot, he'd be like, well, weak safety in his middle of his drop. He wanted to see if I break.
Yes.
Like, he was constantly making
giving
me
you
think.
cues and doing it. It's a dynamic session. So I love that. I've never done one like that before outside of like we've done that before for strictly conditioning. Like, hey, we're gonna go 8-play drive here as fast as we can, right? And usually that's just like, hey, Matthew, I missed my conditioning today. We're gonna do it like at the end of the routes. Let's get like some quick ones as fast as we can. Matthew's more of a route tree guy. Like, he wants to get all of his throws in. Every once in a while, he lets me choose some of the stuff and be like, hey, look, because I really like going like, hey, we're gonna run a corner route today, but I want it against every look we're gonna get. Right.
So undercutting over the top, end it, break.
Exactly. I want cover 4, cover 3, cover 2-man, 1 help, lurk. I want to know, hey, he's playing like, it's man, you didn't win at the top. He's squeezing you, it's going to come flat. Like, all those things. So now then we're just like, we can dial in every look that we want. And for this route it can look so many different ways. And we've talked through all those things. So that was how I really liked doing routes, because there's intent behind it.
We would do those. So that was more of like in the off season where he was trying to get throws and he was conditioning his arm and he was trying to run me and I was young. You know what I mean? Yeah. We would go post practice and do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
So like we'd work safe routes, back shoulder throws because back shoulder throws
takes time.
Such a trust throw, but you still need to be zipping at 10 yards, and you can't dictate it, you can't show it, and so we'd work those a lot, and then we'd also work the flag routes, bow routes, where you want to lean on the guy. He's undercutting, throw you upfield.
Yep.
Like we did a lot of that specialized stuff too. Everything was with Tom. That was what the greats do. You guys are clearly on a great path. You know what I mean? That's why you guys are great, is because you guys practice with a purpose.
Yeah.
It's not just going out there to work hard.
No.
You can't prove just going out and working hard and just, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You got to find out what you need to work and work hard at that, and that's how you improve.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
So
We made the show for this type of conversation, so just keep having it. It's amazing.
Loving the talking shop, baby.
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to talk about something.
What do you want to talk about?
The shirt that you're wearing.
What's this? Oh, this shirt. This whole thing. This whole thing. What is this thing?
That's an old one.
It's very old.
Greatest show on turf here.
Yeah, that one's
For
really old.
Our listening audience, it's a Super Bowl 36 shirt, Patriots versus the Rams.
It just felt like a little bit of a set. Like you didn't want to go all the way and wear the one that I know you wanted to wear. But the producers were like, hey, I don't know if you should wear that one.
No, you want to know? It was the only shirt I had that had Patriots and Rams. So 47 brand, they've been sending us stuff. And shout out. And they sent this one over, and I was like, what am I going to wear for Coop? You know, he's probably going to be a little swag dad. He's going to have some sweet kicks on, some like little surfer hoodie thing going with his beard all done. How do I make it like kosher between us?
Yeah.
You know, and so I picked this out.
Nice.
You know,
I know you've got another shirt. Patriots, Rams.
Well, I have the Super Bowl victory shirt. Yeah, I have that one. They give you after the game, but I don't have like
That's the one.
somewhere here.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good. It's buried deep. That's good.
Well, I mean, I think it's under my other two.
Yeah.
Got him.
Yeah, that's good.
Now, the internet likes to compare us for some reason.
Well, it's because we're so similar.
Why are we so similar? Even though you're 6'1", 6'2", I'm 5'10". What do you think these reasons are?
I couldn't for the life of me.
We
we
just
both
went
have-
into
it's
a
'cause we
whole
both have-
deep dive of how our routes are completely different.
I think it's a beard thing.
It's beard.
It's a beard thing.
Maybe our pigment.
I never thought that once.
Our pigment. Every white guy's the same fucking receiver.
You know what? It is though. So that is what it is. That's what it is.
He's got long speed.
But-
I never had the long speed like that.
I don't have the really
For
long
5
speed
years
like
I
that.
did, but then I got hurt.
Yeah. So I was compared. So who were you compared to coming into the league?
This guy Wes Welker.
Okay. Yeah. So I was Jordy Nelson.
You were. I played against Jordy.
Yeah.
You're better in the slot though.
Way
better. He was fast.
We couldn't be more different.
He was a big guy.
Jordy's game was
Outside.
vertical.
Yeah.
That's not my game.
No, but you can still run vertical routes.
Yeah, but that wasn't like that's not how I've made my. That's not how
Yeah,
I was made my game.
You made
but,
it on that slant
but
that
you know,
comeback.
but now I've seen it full circle now because guess who? Any receiver gets like any white receiver becomes compared to me. Right, so it's kind of like a full circle thing now of like.
So
it
Barrios
was
is just
Jordy.
like us two now. Who else?
Yeah,
is
yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's exactly. It's okay. At some point, all the draft people they'll get some creativity, and it'll actually start like seeing the game, and it'll be like.
I gotta watch the game with you. I mean, Coach Coop. Coach Coop got you got the analyst, bro. If that's a word, analyst.
It is a word.
Analysis.
There
we go.
Nailed it.
What's up with this? How's Puka? He's been a cool addition?
He has been. It's pretty sweet, pretty cool. Obviously, great story coming from a 5th round pick.
Yeah,
doing what he did. I don't know how people didn't see whatever. Like,
yeah,
you see someone play ball and you just kind of know someone can play ball. Kudos to us though for getting him. Yeah, but he's been awesome. Yeah, he's a sponge. He wants to know. He wants to talk football. He wants to know the game. He's got really a pretty good IQ. Like we came from the kind of the same coaching tree.
Yeah,
where his coach at UW when he was there was my receiver coach at Eastern Washington.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so we kind of had the same thing. I've actually been in the same coaching tree since high school. So my high school receiver coach was really best friends with my college receiver coach, who coached my next receiver coach, and Coach Yarbs, who I'm with now, coached Junior Adams, who was my coach in college.
Jeez.
So I've been doing the same. I've had the same tree for since 2008.
Did that consistency help your game?
I think it did, but it did help me because there's a lot of similar thinking, but then the other side is I'm like, I have to go find something new. Like, it forced me to go out and find tools and talk to people and find other drills, find other stuff that I wanted to incorporate into my game, because I'm like, I know I'm getting the same stuff from Yarbs that I got from Coach Adams, that I got from Coach Edwards, I've gotten from Coach Dew.
You want another perspective?
Exactly. I wanted to have another perspective, because receiver's an art form.
Yeah.
No one doesn't. You do it different. This goes back to the same conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, there's Picasso, name another artist.
Matisse.
Michelangelo,
Monet.
Donatello, Raphael.
Ninja Turtles.
They're artists. That's all I can think of.
Da Vinci.
Yeah, there it is. So like, there's all these different ways to do it,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm like, I don't want to get stuck just knowing one way. I want to have some other stuff I can do, and force me to kind of go and learn from people. I remember before my second year, so before the 2018 season, it's Friday before we report on Tuesday for training camp. I'm with Curtis Conway.
Yeah. Who's that? The receiver?
Yeah.
From what team?
Bears. So
What year? Yeah, I think.
so. But look at the point. I'm with Conway, and I show up on Friday. I'm like, he's gonna take me through some drills. I just want to get perspective. I want to see someone else take me through stuff. A lot of times I go with someone, and I might spend a few days working out with someone and be like, I grabbed one thing that I want to like take with me, right? Sometimes there's nothing. Sometimes like, man, there's just a treasure trove of stuff that I want to use here. Yeah, there with Curtis Conway, and we ran a curl route for an hour straight. An hour straight of a curl route 3 days before training camp. My toes were I pulled my cleats off, toes bloodied. Gone.
Every year.
Yeah, gone.
Ugh.
So you go, but I wanted to go hear from someone. I want to hear someone different. And
What was his technique? How was it different? Was he attack the leverage guy, or was he just go straight up in the back of the quarterback?
We did more attack the leverage stuff in terms of like the stems and things like that. But I don't even remember if it was from him that I like pulled this, but it was kind of a beginning of this idea of like, as a receiver, I never want to think of myself as slowing down. I want to decelerate, right? I want to always be thinking I'm accelerating. So even when I get to the top of a route, I want to accelerate down into the ground, right? Like, one of the best stoppers in the world? A javelin, right? Javelin comes down, bing, stops, right? So I want to be like a javelin where I'm running, and I want that angle. I want to accelerate down at 45, and when I'm accelerating, put my foot down. You know what Newton says?
Energy, potential.
Yes. He also says every force has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So if I accelerate down into the ground, right, the ground's going to stop me, push back against me, and stop
Gotta
me,
go
right?
somewhere.
And now as a DB, you see me accelerating, but I'm accelerating down towards the ground, and you're backing up, right? But I'm stopping.
Yeah. But you have to have your technique in, right? In your
You know,
body, your
all that
angles.
stuff. Oh, there's so much. But I'm saying like there running curls for an hour, getting my feet bloodied. It's like yeah, I probably didn't grab a whole lot of stuff from it, but it was like the beginning of this thought. Like, man, how do I want to stop?
Yeah.
How do I want to learn how to like cue myself to how I'm going to run routes to the top?
Yeah.
And it's developed and grown into this place where now I've got like these cues of how I want that stuff to look. And, it's a 1 hour session 5 years ago that's developed into kind of a basis of how I do my stuff now.
Yeah.
We got to give a little shine to Coach Curtis Conway here. First, 7th overall pick in the 93 draft.
Jeez.
Out of
know
USC.
Conway. Yeah, USC.
To the Bears, played from 93 to 04, finished his career with the Niners. El Camino junior college guy before USC.
El Camino, where's that?
Torrance.
Old Torrance, right out the road.
Shout out to Coach Curtis Conway.
What other guys did you look up to when you were younger, running routes?
When I was younger, so I played running back.
Yeah.
So
You were looking at running backs.
I was looking at running backs. So
running backs.
Reggie
Bush. We had him on here. We talked about the 505 game.
Against
we
Fresno
had
State.
505 yards against Fresno State. Remember that, where he cut back against the whole team?
we pulled the ball back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
What are the receivers in the league right now? Do you study any of the guys? Because I used to study guys all the time.
Yeah. So
I'd be like, why the fuck is he catching 120 balls? I'd look at every catch he had. I said, what is he doing?
So I loved watching Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen release game.
Keenan Allen, like these last few years especially, because he had some injury stuff come up, right? Isn't like he's never been a burner, right? Yeah. He's later in his career, but he's slowed down. He slowed down. Still playing at a very high level. And I want to know, like, how is he creating separation? And then I started watching the tape, and guess what? They never tell Keenan Allen to run. It's a go route. So now you're not moving great. You weren't a burner in the first place, and your team doesn't let you run vertical. How are you going to get open? And his ability to snap down to like get close to get open is unbelievable. Like he'd run hitch routes against press, and he'd get open, even though they never threw a go ball. Right? Like as a DB, if you study tape and you never see your guy go vertical, you're just going to sit on every route.
Yeah.
And he over and over again is able to get open, make a ton of catches. His ability in and out of breaks, like how quick he is. He runs that little Colorado route, which I think they let him run it on an option. He's either running the shallow if he's got it, or he's bursting back out.
Yeah.
He's made a killing on that. But
you guys don't have any of those two-way goes? The read it routes, you see ours? We used to run the read it.
But we don't do it like that. We don't do it off of like the shallow.
We don't do it. We do it off cross routes.
Yeah.
So 6, 15.
And you're either cross.
You're either going across to 24 or you're bringing it out to the bow. Read it route.
What do you have on the backside?
Go. It's just for you to get open and fucking win. Third, if you knew you were getting man coverage, you can get it protected. Mm-hmm. You knew if they weren't thieving or money or robbing you, that's where you go. Yeah. Or you put a deep stopper on one side that converts. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if they robber it, you can hit that stopper because you got one-on-one.
It's true one-man show, basically.
One-man show, 53 yards to get open. Just throw me the ball, coach. You got to get McVay in there. Come on.
That's just not how we operate, really. We don't do that.
What?
It's got to fit the system.
Yeah, but if you guys don't play man teams though.
No, we play man teams.
What man team have you played right now? Who's a man team?
So you're just saying that because you came from the Patriots who play, you just play a ton of man-to-man.
We didn't play man against you guys in the Super Bowl.
On third down, you did.
Well, third down is always man coverage.
Not always, but yeah. It was.
Most of the time is always man. It comes down to man coverage.
We all know what you did in the Super Bowl.
We changed it up.
You're 6'1". We cover 4.
You weren't there though. That's why they lost.
I was there. I was watching the whole thing. Third down, double Robert Woods, Gilmore on BC. You know what's a sweet play from that? I don't know if when you guys produce this, if you can put it in there, but Robert Woods ran a sail route on third down on our sideline, going from our sideline looking right to left against a double team. That was unbelievable catch on the sideline.
What, he sold it in? Did he bring
sold it in? Sold it in, kind of stuck it, flattened it out. He had the outside leverage guy and just shaved underneath the outside leverage guy, throw to the sideline.
I bet you that DB got murdered on the sideline by Bill. Don't lose your fucking leverage. Just keep your leverage. We're double teaming them.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. But it was a sweet route.
Did B Cooks give you guys any info
going into that game?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember him doing a ton. This is tough. It's a tough thing when you got teams like everyone thinks like with all the players. It's too hard. It's too much stuff. Putting on a defense and an offense are already thinking about so much stuff.
Yeah.
And then you guys came out anyways and did something you'd never done anyways. So it's like the worst thing about the Super Bowl is you get 2 weeks to overthink everything.
Overthink everything and over-prepare for anything.
So you prepare based on the film, because why would you prepare for something you haven't seen before? You prepare for the film for 2 weeks.
They're a do-what-they-do team, guys.
And then they show up, and you guys did the
opposite.
Chicago?
What?
The defense you guys ran. It was
some blitz zero. They had a couple blitz zeros, and they were
Chicago.
dropping people.
Fangio had done it earlier that year with Chicago.
I wasn't in on the defensive meetings. You guys got to watch that.
So pay attention to what you guys are doing.
100%. I just saw there was interceptions by Gilmore when third down and it was needed. I was sitting there on the sideline like, that's for the keeper, coach. Let's go.
When McCourty ran out there and knocked that one
out of.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! So that play wasn't even in. That play was not.
You guys talked about it on the sideline. I think.
That was a play that we drew up on the sideline that we had run before, but it was not part of the game plan. And we're like, we got to get this thing in there. And It's a tough one.
It seemed like Coach was a little starstruck though with Belichick at
Wasn't
first.
starstruck.
I love Coach. We played against each other in college. Like I love Coach McVay. That's my dog.
The Mac, baby.
Soho House. We've gone and got hammered together and stuff. But you know, he
wasn't He wasn't starstruck.
little.
No, I don't think that's what it was.
He saw Darth Vader for the first time. He's like, oh my. You
I
watch
don't
any of
think
these
that's what
young
it was.
guys? You watch any of these young guys coming out, Harrison, or
The receivers coming out.
yeah,
Malik
Yeah.
Neighbors.
you watch young guys?
I watch. I mean, just as much as like
Neighbors
you
and
watch
Doomsday.
like college football. Like I'm not like pulling up guys' film and
Yeah.
like scouting them.
I watch highlights. But that's not. You don't really get anything out of the highlight.
Yeah, because what you see the catch at the end. You know,
Well, then
like
you can
seeing
see what
routes.
his best is, and then you can assume what his shittiest
But you get
is.
to see the whole route a lot of the time. You know, that's the thing that kills me is a lot of times it's like, okay, I saw you get off the line and then you disappeared and then you caught it.
Yeah. Usually they're just go routes in college. 4 verticals.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it though. And I've heard there's some really good, like some good guys coming out. So
I just got to ask one thing. What's up with this red turf at Eastern Washington? What's up with that, dude?
the Inferno,
Just on fire?
it's literally on fire.
Does it get hot?
It gets pretty hot. It does. And then
How is it? Does it mess with your eyes?
no, honestly, when you're playing on it all the time, it's not.
So it's home field
it-
advantage for real then?
It's 100% home field advantage.
Because guys are tripping when they go on there.
Yeah, it's for sure an adjustment period, getting used to it. But like, cause I go back and watch, if I see a highlight or whatever of the red turf now, it's like, whoa, my eyes are just, like blinding my
Yeah.
eyes. But when you're on it, we practice on it every day. It was just, I was home.
Yeah. We got a segment. Let's go back to January 30th, 2022. We go over pop culture, what was going on. It wasn't that long ago, but the #1 movie was Spider-Man No Way Home. Just watched it with my daughter. She loves it.
Every time we do this,
It's always a Spider-Man, I feel like.
Spider-Man has been on. We've done 50 of these shows now. 50. Everyone from Terry Bradshaw in the 70s to
Cooper
new
Kupp in
guys.
2022.
And Spider-Man's been on like 7 of
They
them.
just keep going. You go all the way back to, what was the OG? You guys consider the OG the Tobey Maguire?
I like
me,
it.
that's
Tobey
the
Maguire.
OG.
That's OG.
That's the OG.
That's OG.
So from then on, how many Spider-Man movies have there been?
I think 4
There-
more.
there-
Let me crunch the
I think
numbers
it's
there.
It was a lot.
I think it's like 7 or 8.
There's
No,
some weird
right?
licensing thing I won't bore you with that Sony has the rights.
I know
and they have
Sony
to
has
make
it. They have to
and-
do it. They
And are
have
we
to
counting
make a movie to
animated? We
keep
count
it.
animated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the
animated
new-
ones are great.
The new ones are good.
Yeah.
You like Spider-Man?
Yeah.
You action figure guy? You like?
No, but
Heroes?
my boys are really big into superheroes.
Yeah.
So
What's their favorite?
Batman is probably the favorite.
Best.
Batman's
a
definitely
real
the
guy.
favorite. Yeah. Just
He's
normal guy.
real. These are real tools he's using.
Jules always tells us how he's more of a Robin man than a Batman man.
That's Danny Amendola. Sorry.
Just as Robin.
You have a picture of Danny dressed up as Robin Hood. with
That's
us?
Danny. What's up? The #1 song was "Easy on Me" by Adele.
We like it, though.
I like Adele. Do you see that Sphere? You see her at the Sphere? You been to Vegas? See the Sphere?
I saw the Sphere being built. I've
Yeah.
been to Vegas one time.
You're not missing much. Dan Campbell finishes his first season as head coach of the Detroit Lions with a 3-13-1 record. I liked him at the beginning. It was
You don't like him anymore?
I like him. I like Dan Campbell, but there's a fine line between reckless and aggressive, and he's tinkering on that reckless side way too much.
He's
with
tinkering on what you perceive
no,
as like
no. I've done what he's trying to do. He needs to.
you coach the Detroit
He needs
Lions.
it- no, I've been part championship teams. You have too. Your team never went for it on like 4th and 5
some of the-
on
some
your
of the-
30.
Yeah, those ones.
Like,
There's,
what
there's
are we
some stuff.
doing, bro?
He's buying kneecaps, man.
We
I
gotta
like
get
him to death. I go to bat for him all the time, but we gotta.
No, I really like what he's got going on over there.
Yeah.
The players are super bought into their stuff. It sounds like a great place, like a really fun place to play.
I bet. They got a lot of juice right now. They got some
A lot of
hype.
NFL
There's a lot of
players,
excitement
coaches.
with that. That'd be a cool place to win in Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, they love their fans. Scream, Licorice Pizza, and The Matrix Resurrections were all popping off in the box office. I didn't like The Matrix that much. You like it?
No. I mean, I
The
didn't
Matrix
see it.
one was.
It didn't do
It
anything
was
for me.
great and everything
Can't
else.
you Matrix guy? You like Matrix?
I've seen the OGs. I don't
Yeah.
know the Resurrections.
Scream? Was this a new Scream?
Yeah, there's a new one. Again, didn't really cross my desk very hard.
What's Licorice Pizza?
That's like an indie movie with
Paul Thomas
uh,
Anderson.
Thomas Anderson.
yeah.
Great one.
Was
I'm
it?
a big fan. Big fan.
Who's in that?
Tyler doesn't seem to feel the same way.
He doesn't like late era PTA, which I
don't
like.
Like most things.
It's pretty miserable.
I've been working with him for 10 years.
Going through life, just pretty much not liking anything.
Nothing. Bob Saget, R.I.P.
Dude,
passed away at
R.I.P.
65.
Danny Tanner.
Man,
R.I.P. bro.
loved him on Full House. That's how old I am.
You raised me, bro. I was raised on the reruns, but still. TBS after school,
What's
baby.
going on in the sports world?
Wait, we got to give some shine to Kevin James, bro. This is when Home Team dropped.
Home team.
He was playing
Netflix.
Sean Payton, man.
Sean Payton.
Who? All right, we got to
have-
ask the question: who would play Sean McVay in a movie?
Who plays Sean McVay?
Who would? If Kevin James plays Sean Payton in this movie,
So you're saying the standard's real low?
yeah,
I like Kevin James.
I like Kevin James, but that is funny.
No, I'm
that
saying
that
standard's
actually
real low in
happened.
terms of like how alike they need to look.
Yeah,
Not
he's-
really.
I'm not saying that I don't like Kevin James. I'm just saying the standard was not like his acting.
It was a bad movie, yes.
The standard,
Objectively.
the standard wasn't on his
I haven't
acting.
seen
It
it.
was
I haven't seen it.
who's playing Sean McVay?
I'm struggling here. Nobody really comes to mind.
I know. I know he's gonna want me to say someone that's
Brad Pitt.
like he has a ton of respect for, and like I think he's actually referenced someone. I think the Rams have actually referenced someone playing Sean.
Who?
Before. I can't remember who it was. It was in the draft house. One of the draft houses. They had him there.
What
Sure, you guys
movies he
can pull
been
it up.
in?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Glenn
It's
Powell.
been so long.
Huh?
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell.
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, right. McVay ain't that good looking.
I just want him on the show. You just want him on the show, Jules. Who would play Bill?
Who would play Bill? Danny DeVito. Be a fun Bill.
That'd be good.
It'd be a fun Bill.
You could do something fun with that. Danny DeVito as Bill Belichick.
That'd be
You
awesome.
could do some. You could do some good stuff with that.
Cut the trailer now.
Let's go back into sports world. Super Bowl champions, LA Rams.
That's right.
You guys won
Congrats.
it. Hats off. That was pretty cool to watch. Stafford come over day one, win the Super Bowl. NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers.
In his corduroy suit. I remember it.
Anti-wide receiver bias.
Yeah, you should have been an MVP, 100%.
Thanks, Julian.
Bro, you almost had
receivers got to stick together on this thing.
Amen.
You had an insane year. Didn't you break like 6 records?
I don't know. We were close. We
19
were close to a few.
53.
I think we were actually, we were 18 yards off of Calvin's, but it was the extra game. We did have the extra game that year.
Still,
And actually,
extra
you know,
game-
we had that the last drive of that game. That's the last game of the season, right? The last drive of the season, second to last. We had a fly sweep that went for 18 yards, but we handed it.
should have gave it a little pitch.
Can you imagine if it was just, just a little.
Matthew, come on.
Would they have gave it to him if he would have beat the record? Would they have given it to
I
him?
think you have to. I think you'd have to
You
have
have
it
to.
asterisk.
You have
but
to. Or
but
Aaron
it
Rodgers
would be-
numbers.
But it's like going forward from now, though, it has to be asterisk as like a 17 game, like from 17 game thing going forward.
I mean, was Aaron Rodgers' number that great?
I think they were pretty
4,115 yards, 37 TDs, only 4 picks,
Yeah,
good. Pretty good.
111.9 passer rating.
But
I
he's
mean,
got those laying around his house.
lame.
that's nothing compared to 145 catches,
140.
almost 2,000 yards, 16 receiving touchdowns.
It was a pretty good season by.
That was a
I'm-
fucking monster season. Pretty good season. National champions was Georgia. This old Georgia thing. They go back to back this year. Did they go back to back?
This was the first of the two. Let me double check. I think
Bryce
so, though.
Young was the Heisman Trophy winner. Man, he's been in a bad situation.
Yeah,
I feel bad for him.
it was tough.
That whole thing.
It was tough.
Winter Olympics kickoff in China, which was god awful. I heard. I mean, people were dying of, I think, breathing problems with the pollution.
All right, Joe.
And then I think didn't they not have enough snow? I remember
Yeah,
watching
it was a
the
mess.
stuff. They had no snow.
It was a
an
mess.
issue.
It was a mess.
There's problems.
First NFL season to consist with 17 regular season games. What were your thoughts on that? That's hard.
It's hard.
Jesus.
It is hard. You know when it's the hardest is when you finish your 16th game. And you're like, we should really be in the playoffs right now, but we got to go do another game.
These young
That's
guys
what
don't
it's-
even have that feeling.
No, I know. But that's the thing. It's if you're ignorant to the fact that it used to be 16, or in that it used to be 14, and that's going to be 18.
We want the health and the safety of the players to be in our mind. We're making
it's all about
these
the health and
decisions.
safety of the players. It really,
the health and safety of the players. That's why we're gonna add.
There's been
one more violent car crash to their life.
Yes, one more. Yeah, game of violent car crashes. Yeah,
car crashes.
So I've heard people. I'm not going to name names. People have thrown out the idea of what if you took out OTAs. I haven't even started yet.
Sloppy football already.
No,
Keep going.
Exactly. So that is the fear, right? And innovation. You lose innovation if you don't have OTAs. But you take out OTAs. Maybe you split part of OTAs, put it to training camp, but you cut training camp. So you end up with like a similar-ish time, whereas a buildup of OTAs into training camp, right? So like OTAs, how OTA starts, just workouts and meetings, then just routes on air and meetings and lifting, and then eventually training camp, right? If you were to do it like that, but you were to say you were going to go like 21 games. So you add games, shorten the overall season of work for players. I'm not saying I'm advocating for 21 games because that's a lot. And then you've got playoffs on top of that. I'm saying that someone has thrown this idea out. Is what would revenue look like if you were to get to that place and say, as players, you're going to get, once the season's over, you're not coming back to work until late July.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with our union and us as players. They throw this little bullshit in front of us like, hey, guys, look, we're going to shorten your practice. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And they slide in 7 other games, and they take all the revenues for all the goddamn playoffs.
Yeah, no, it's the same. It is the same thing. I mean, at the end of the day, we get to like the safety of the game and the players. They're doing things. I'm glad I'm not playing defense because I understand the challenges of playing defense in this league now.
Yeah.
But when you add in all the player safety concerns, the things that are being negotiated by players that we don't want to do, that then it's like, well, we don't want to. You know what? Don't test me for drugs for a few more weeks, but you can add the game on. There's like the things that like everything we give up, we're also like, or everything we get, we're also giving something up.
Yeah, but they're like laughing. The owners are sitting
that's
like,
what I'm saying. That doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
Well, they don't. I don't think they really care about that.
No.
So,
but the thing is, what'll happen if they were to try to do that? The product would get so shitty because it's already been sloppy these last couple of years. As far as if you look at offensive line play at the beginning of each year. I'm on TV. We talk about, the offensive line play for this team, this team is terrible. Why is that? You get 14 padded practices in the regular season. You get, 5 to 7 in training camp? And that's like an art for these guys. They have to have live reps in order to like be able to communicate and do their job and get the situations that they're going to have in games. So if you do this, the product is going to continually get watered down and you're going to lose fanship. So it's one of those things where they better not get too fat.
Oh yeah, there is.
Or what is it like that? Something like that. You get
hungry pigs get slaughtered. Or
something like the hungry pigs is slaughtered.
I don't know how that applies exactly.
It does because the league thinks they're so good where they're just going to keep on generating more and more revenues, but they're going to see.
Oh, gotcha. They're the hungry pigs.
Yeah,
gotcha. I completely agree with you. You have to protect the product of the game. And I think that also comes down to a responsibility on players who want less and less practice, who already, I think, relative to when maybe you started in the league, what practice looked like versus now. It's like you're ignorant to what football used to look like, right? Because you never knew it. Like this is like the rookies coming in now, this is the NFL they're going to know forever.
Forever.
Right? The NFL that you knew is much different from when you started to where it ended. There's a responsibility on players to do something in the offseason to prepare yourself to get ready to go.
But we've been seeing through statistics that responsibility has not been getting taken by the player because injuries are through a fucking roof.
Yes.
We had 14 backup quarterbacks last year.
And this is where I think there is a 100%. I don't want to. I just wish that more guys showed up ready to go. And that's where I think I understand this in terms of the issues between the league and the players, and the product needs to be good. And there's obviously the union's always going to argue for less work. The league's always going to argue for more games. There's a middle ground here where we got to come together and figure out what's the way we put our best product forward. Because when the product's good, the money's going to be good for the league, which means the money's going to be good for the players. It's all going to go full circle, but we got to figure out where that middle ground is. There is a responsibility on players to show up ready to work, I think. And that's where I think some of this stuff could happen where guys in the summer I'm like, if you don't want to be ready for OTAs, I'm fine with that. But the guys that leave all summer, don't do anything all summer, and then show up for training camp. That summer, you get 5 weeks from OTAs to training camp. Take your break and then get ready to work, because it's in your best interest as a player to show up ready to go. To protect yourself, protect your teammates, be ready to put your best foot forward. If you don't show up to training camp ready to go, I have a hard time when guys get hurt or guys do stuff or guys aren't ready or guys are, getting talked to by coaches about potentially getting released. It's like, dude, I saw you were in the Caribbean for 3 weeks.
It's professional football, okay?
Yeah,
this professional football. Guys used to back in 1960s and 70s that played this goddamn game were mechanics in the offseason because they didn't get paid. This is professional football. We're getting paid hella good money. Get your ass in the gym, on the field, get right, and let's go.
Yeah.
It's too Belichick-y. Jack, let's segue this in. Let's start getting into these games.
Hey, before we get into these games and these teams real quick, 2021, 2022, prior to this season, we had some very notable retirements in the NFL. Drew Brees, LaShawn McCoy, Phillip Rivers, Adam Vinatieri, Demaryius Thomas, Jason Witten, and yours truly, Julian Edelman.
I didn't retire this year.
That's right. Had to give you a little shine there, brother. Should we get into these teams?
Tough year.
Sorry.
San Francisco 49ers. Let's hear that.
Niner
unbelievable
gang.
team that
All
I
right,
grew
let's
up
run
loving.
through these guys.
Grew up loving this team. It's better than me wearing a San Francisco shirt.
That would have been disrespectful.
Yeah, but I grew up. This was my team, bro. My dog's name was Dwight in Montana. I had 2 dogs, Tim Dwight and Joe Montana. They were my dogs.
Yeah.
Dwight Clark.
Dated Jerry Rice's daughter. I'm part of that franchise, kind of.
Yeah. No. You're not. But I understand. Like you
keep saying your dog's Tim Dwight, but it's Dwight Clark.
Or Dwight Clark.
Yeah.
Tim Dwight, that's Patriot.
Played with him.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Patriot.
That's what I'm saying. You have your
CT,
allegiance.
CT.
Like when you're growing up, you have your allegiance, but eventually you're a patriot.
Yeah, I'm full on Patriot.
Were you
Exactly.
a Seahawks guy growing up, Coop?
What's that?
Were you a Seahawks guy or what?
No, I'm from Washington, so I grew up Seattle. Like Seahawks were kind of the team, and then it got to a point where bedtime was when the game was over, so I was rooting for overtime always.
I got that.
Yeah, and then there's also a point where, Hasselbeck had his his moment, and then
Sean Alexander
kind of started he was just kind of done, I think.
He got paid. He was on cover Madden. It was never the same.
And it just wasn't really the same.
MVP.
And that's when I really had tough. I'm like, you know what? I just want to see good football. And so I kind of transitioned. I didn't want to see good football teams, good football players.
You mentioned the Seahawks. You guys both played a lot like Steve Largent.
Loved Largent. He's the godfather. Even though we don't play anything alike, but just being a white dude that got up and went down that sideline, jumped and got it. Loved him. Yeah. Hall of Famer. He's like a congressman now.
Yeah,
I gotta look that up.
Yeah. He's fucking sharp.
Damn, shout out Steve. All right, so this Niners team, this was the 5th year of the Shanahan-Lynch era. Bounced back from a 6-10 season the year prior. Started this year 3-5. Had to go 7-9 to make the playoffs. In that last year of the season, or that last week of the season, it was win and get in against the Rams, as Coop mentioned earlier. Top 10 in total offense, top 10 in total defense. Pretty well put together on both sides of the ball. This was the 5th season of the Jimmy G era in San Francisco, which is kind of
Jimmy
crazy.
G.
And this was the year that they traded up to make that Trey Lance pick, 3rd overall. How's that one working out?
But they also got Brock Purdy, right?
That's good.
In that same draft.
No.
Next year?
Next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
And then Pro Bowlers, Kyle Juszczyk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Alex Mack, Nick Bosa, and Laken Tomlinson.
Alex Mack was really good for a long time. He's probably the best center for our generation. He can do the splits.
No way.
Yeah, he's really flexible.
Damn, I didn't know that. Should we hit these Rams real quick? Coop, jump in anytime. This is your squad, brother. Cooper Kupp became the first player to win the Triple Crown since Steve Smith in 2005. That was the big headline of this season. It's also Stafford's first year in L.A. That was huge. He had a banner year, career high in touchdowns and completion percentage. As we noted with our former guest, Andrew Whitworth, this was his 16th and final season in the NFL. He went out on top like a beast. Love that. And then OBJ joined the squad in week 10. Came over from Cleveland after his dad made those comments. And
He put together a highlight film.
highlight
Highlight film. That's like a Bill highlight film. It's a low light right there, bro.
Bill Tube.
Bill too.
And then Pro Bowlers, we got Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and kicker Matt Gay. What a squad.
A lot less Pro Bowlers on that compared to
Kind of weird, right?
the team up north.
A
All
lot
that
of.
mattered was at the end.
So what's that mean? The team up north has got a bunch of names. You guys are underdogs always.
They're north of us.
12-5 team won the NFC West, by the way.
You guys
Sean
are
McVay.
balling.
Sean McVay, head coach. And a lot of, we had Kevin O'Connell, OC, right? That year?
He was, yep.
KOC. How you like KOC?
He's a man. I really like him.
I played with him.
That's so
That's
wild.
right.
Yeah, my rookie year.
You treat him well?
He was cool. I mean, I was a rookie. He was a
yeah.
second year guy.
Oh, gotcha. So he treat you well.
Yeah, we hung out a bunch. There's like a slap dick group.
He was part of that group.
Well, we were just guys that that weren't starters. They were the Patriots then. They already had they just came off of 2 years ago. They almost went undefeated, 3 Super Bowls and shit. So there's a group. There's socioeconomic statuses in the locker room. You understand that?
No, we don't do that.
How was it share a receivers room with Odell?
It was great.
Yeah.
Honestly, he came in
Energy.
and he is himself. He is going to be who he is. I think anytime I imagine I've been lucky enough to be with the Rams for going on 8 years now, so I don't know what it's like going to a new team. Neither do you.
Yeah.
But so I would imagine you come in you're in a new place, surrounded by a bunch of new people, trying to get a feel for what the room's about, how we do things. And I think there was probably a 1 week period where it was an adjustment period of we don't do that here. But it wasn't ever anything nothing egregious or anything like that. But it was there was a growth, and then it was man, he's just a part of the team, and he was such an incredible teammate, brought so much energy to everything that we did, and obviously was a huge part of that season.
He's got an aura. You know what I mean? When you got Odell, it's kind of like when Tebow joined our team. He came in and he had an aura about him. So it's always fun to hear about how they are in the room.
Yeah. How was that with Tebow?
Oh man, I've talked about it so much on this podcast.
Oh, really?
What makes Sean McVay so special?
Oh my goodness! Yeah, quick transition to. Okay. What makes Sean McVay so special? In all honesty, let's get serious for a second. He commands the room better than anyone I've ever been around, right? Comes in, his ability to communicate to people, get a message across is A1. And I think it's, for any coach, if you're not a good communicator, you're going to make everyone's life miserable. And so for him, from the very top, you're getting clear, concise communication that trickles down through everything.
When we had Witt on, he said he walked in on McVay watching game tape of himself giving speeches to the team, trying to break down his own stuff.
Why did he pause after he said he walked in on McVay?
Dramatic effect.
I was like, doing what?
Had to let it linger for a second.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, because I think that was a super important thing for him. He was my age when he was head coach of the LA Rams.
So weird
right?
to think
so
about.
Crazy.
Yeah.
As you're stepping in, you're my age going in. I can understand being critical and wanting to learn from all this. This is your first time leading a team meeting. As players, we get an opportunity to watch ourselves and learn. And I think he wanted to learn and be the best that he could be for us. I think that's he takes that mentality. He is very critical of himself and wants to be. He doesn't want to let people down. And that's kind of his heart for people. And I think that's kind of what drives a lot of the things that he does.
I love that.
He just outside looking in, and I mean gone to practice, but I'm not there. But you could just tell he's got just leadership qualities.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a leader of men.
Yep.
He knows that, and then the communication thing is so important in this generation.
Yeah.
It just, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And he knows how to do it. He seems like he knows how to
Yes.
be a chameleon with each guy to make them get their best.
Yeah. Exactly. Find ways to motivate people and connect with them. I think he does a really good job of that.
Yeah, he does. Now, one guy you're probably going to be missing that was on this team, Aaron Donald. I mean, that's how like special is it just to watch him in practice.
Yeah, there's nothing like what he was able to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the chances that it was really like his ability to choose when to take risks and take his shot was unbelievable because of his preparation, because of his preparation going into games, and then it was when he did take his shot and it wasn't there, his ability to then counter and like close gaps still. Right, he'd play out of his gap more than probably anyone ever, but he would make sure that he was doing his job and closing it if it was an issue. But he wasn't. He'd two gap, but he'd run around you. He's so fast, so quick. Like it's like I'm gonna get past you, and I'm gonna make things right on the other side.
Now, was he a guy that like lived in the weight room? He was always around
he's
the
ridiculous.
facility.
So I think AD's thing, like he secretly wants to be like he wants to be Dwayne Johnson. So like that's where his
Don't we all?
he wants to be the Rock, and he spends so much time lifting, and it's not even like functional lifts sometimes. It's I've actually worked out with him. I went and worked out with him one time. So I was like, hey, the offseason, let's get a workout in together. Tells me the time, show up, an hour and a half straight of arms. An hour and a half. You know how many muscles you have in your arms? There's not a lot.
Like 7?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like bicep, tricep,
Yeah.
shoulder, maybe if you count that as part of your arm, and then forearms
Yeah.
for an hour and a half.
I mean, he looked like it.
Yeah, that's
look-
what
it
I'm saying. Like you don't need to be doing arms for an hour and a half.
Nah, but when you're baby rhino, you do. That dude looked like a straight rhino.
He is unbelievably strong, and then obviously all the things on top of it that you have as a football player were there. It's like he just loves working out, loves lifting, and it just was an extra little part on top of the fact that he is, I think the best defensive player of all time, and the skills and all the stuff that he had going for him in that regard.
How many D tackles in the history of the NFL have had abs?
It's not a lot.
Not a lot.
Who's the unsung hero of this game, though, before we get into the game?
Unsung hero of this game,
Or the team?
For the team.
it's hard to say. There were so many guys that made plays throughout that entire game. I'm not sure if I can choose one person. I think it was just a full team win.
Yeah.
Everyone did their job, and it was good when they needed to be. They were able to make plays.
Definitely.
I don't have anything.
I like that, though. I
like
mean,
that.
when you win against a team, I mean, they were your kryptonite for a while, bro.
They were.
That's big to do in the NFC Championship after losing them twice in the same year. Like, there's a lot to prove. Everyone had to do their fucking job to get that win.
Yep.
To go to the next game and play the last game of the year, the best game of the year.
Amen.
Lead up.
Yeah,
Jack?
let's talk about how we got to this game.
It was pretty decent.
It was, amen. The Niners come in as the 6th seed. The Rams come in as the 4 seed. The path to get there, the Niners had to win at Dallas and at Lambeau in the snow.
It's like
Crazy.
a 90s
Yeah,
playoff
I remember
run.
that was
I mean,
it was crazy.
MVP? Jimmy G?
Jimmy G takes out the MVP, baby.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
Rodgers chokes. And the Rams, their path was pretty crazy as well. Easy win on the road in Arizona, won 34-11. And then the crazy game down in Tampa, taking out Brady.
Oh, my gosh.
Cooper coming
that
through
game-
huge at the end.
That's got to be so.
Is that Blitz Zero?
January 23rd. That was cover zero. Yeah.
Yeah.
January 23rd might be the best day in history for football. Because you guys remember the game that was after that?
What?
That was the Chiefs-Bills game.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, my
That
God.
right.
was-
That was like right after that game.
Holy smokes.
Right.
Divisional round, always crazy. That's a fun weekend. When you get out and you start to enjoy this, like you're in it, so you're
Same
still
day.
in it. But like, oh my God, divisional. But nothing like championship Saturday is awesome too.
Yeah.
Dude, I think Coop just brought up a point. We got to do that as an episode that day. like a grand finale, the greatest day in football in recent history.
It would be competitive that game that day.
That is insane.
Those are two of the wildest games because I thought that obviously both different too. Like one of them where it's just a story of two different halves, and then that game which was just back and forth.
Created an overtime rule about it.
That Tampa Bay game, I think at one point was the game 27-3.
I believe
We were up at one point. We were up a lot, and
money
we
on
turned the ball over right before halftime too.
I didn't have money on them beating you guys. I had money them going to the Super Bowl.
On Tampa.
Yeah, I put it like a
What'd you lose?
$50K.
$50K.
Yeah, we were cursing your name a little bit
Blitz
for a
fucking
second.
zero.
You guys-
That's
yeah.
what we're gonna do. Blitz zero and just not cover the fucking
call-
triple crown winner down
So
the middle of the
I
field.
believe
Just-
that call
Let's put a
came-
safety on the triple crown winner, folks.
I believe that
Let's
call
put the
came
safety
from
on a triple crown winner. $50,000. Kids going to junior college now.
No, you are right. You are right, Cooper. 27-3.
So
with
I remember looking up at the score and be like, "Gosh, I'm so glad it's not 28-3." I remember being like, "Gosh, I'm so glad it's not 28-3."
oh my god, that's the quote of the episode. Yeah, with 7 minutes left, y'all went up 20 in the third quarter.
Yeah, I
Man.
remember being like that, being a thing. Like, gosh,
Let's jump back into the game lead.
yeah.
All right, back to the lead up of the game at hand here. The Niners, as we mentioned before, had won both regular season matchups. Kyle Shanahan kind of had Coach McVay's number, won 6 in a row against him coming into this one, which is crazy. And the Niners front was insane this playoff run. 5 sacks in both the wild card and divisional round games for him. That was crazy. And also that Niners playoff run against the Cowboys, that was the first meeting since 94, rekindling the old Niners-Cowboys rivalry, which you remember growing up, Jules. Yeah. Hated the Cowboys. And then crazy, this game at hand we're talking about today, the title game, Michael Buffer did the opening kickoff. Let's get ready to rumble guy.
I do remember that.
Wild. What was up with this era of guys like?
Was
and
it
then we
in
had the Rock
LA?
doing the
LA?
other
Was
stuff.
it in LA?
Yeah.
It was in
Yeah, it was in LA.
Yeah.
LA, they bring out the stars.
bring out the
the
big
Rock
ones.
opened up a game.
And then the Rock opened up the Super
Next
Bowl.
week.
Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Pull up the Niners roster.
Yeah.
They went on a run here at one point over the last 3 years. I think we counted like there were like 7 first rounders on the defensive line. Alone,
Oh, yeah.
where they just the front was pretty good.
They had like 2 number 1 overall picks or something.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Now, you guys played this going into the postseason. You played them twice.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys really watch those games to prepare, or
we
was
did. So this first touchdown here in the second quarter,
the
16-yard pass
Yep.
was that
was
the
in
flag?
it was
Cover
the corner.
two?
Yes, but it was the cover 2 corner route that we
hit the
ran,
flat?
and we'd actually seen the way that they were playing some stuff to the backside in the last game of the year. They were getting lazy at safety, covering what felt like a backside route, and so we put this basically really similar concept up, but put it to the front side. Let Matthew kind of mess with that safety, where he can look eyes away, hold it.
Keep him
I can
skinny.
put a little bit extra on the corner route, and then Matthew was able to just dart that thing in there.
And the running back goes out to the flat to
Try to hold the guy down.
hold
So
the corner down.
we had a few things. Actually, KOC, I believe, was the one that had kind of caught that and installed that play for us.
Now, on your second touchdown pass, were you supposed to break out and then go, and then you just beat him and just went? You were
So the
supposed to fake
second
the
one
flat?
was against Kwan.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a man play that we had called. And I'm not sure what happened. Something got messed up. I don't know if clock was running down or what. And we called it. We had a second play on it. We were like, hey, if we get man running, if we got zone, get out of the play. But we snapped the ball and they're in cover 4. So we're in a packed formation. Right? We're in a
you're in a
tight
bunch.
bunch, right? And normally, yes, I'm supposed to like wheel this thing out
And then
kind
go.
of, and like really, it's like a stutter. It's really a play that we ran later on, or really a similar play we ran at the end of the season against Jimmy Ward. It was
So you
a
have a
little
post,
stutter
and then
go.
you
It
hit
was a
here.
little stutter fade.
Yeah.
Was what it really is. Like clear everything out and let me kind of stutter fade from the slot. They go cover 4, And like, shoot, okay, now this changes this route now. Now in cover 4, if you got someone quick to the flat, I can disappear because if I know if that corner attaches to this, this little short post route that's coming, right? If I get that corner attaches and I out leverage the flat player, there's a chance that you can kind of like foop get up and down, right, back behind him. So I kind of sped it up to kind of basically kind of get lost outside of Kwan Williams and try to wheel up to the front of the pylon. And there's another where Matthew just did a great job getting that ball. I mean, Kwan's like looking this way and the ball's behind his head on the other side. Just happened to be a good spot by Matthew. But yeah, one of those ones where it's not exactly what you were calling it for, but you find a way to kind of make it.
We used to have a play like that called read pump that was specifically for cover 4 because once you go out and you run it out, that guy's going to go, and then you have the post that's going to collect the.
You just got to make sure you grab that corner.
But you got to make sure you grab the linebacker and make him. You got to be patient with it. And then
you're saying you?
Up.
Yeah, I'm saying, but if the outside doesn't grab the corner,
so your first read is that if the corner lets him go, you bang.
Yep, exactly. Corner's off, and then if that corner attaches, you're trying to like high low.
And you high low. Yep. It's also a good cover 6 beater, which is cover 3.
Cover 6 is not cover 3.
We use for people out there. Cover 6 is to the strength of the defense. We can bring the safety to the tight end. That's what we used to call cover 6, 66-6. Cover 3 is if he went away from.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if the safety went away from the passing strength,
you guys call it 6.
That was cover 3.
6 was a version of 3.
Well, it's a version of 3. It's just the guy goes different side.
Yeah.
But it's the same. We had the same. They had the same responsibilities.
Interesting.
Jack, give me a quick rundown.
Quick rundown of this game. Scoreless first quarter. We remember that tough interception on the second drive of the game.
Yes.
For the Rams. Stafford threw in the red area. That was tough. But the Rams bounced back with the touchdown we talked about earlier. 97-yard TD drive. Cooper got his first TD. San Francisco answered with a long Debo touchdown, 44-yarder. Then Matt Gay misses a 54-yard field goal just before the half. San Francisco leads 10-7 at the half. The Rams are held scoreless in the third. A George Kittle TD late puts them up 10. So the Rams go into the fourth quarter here trailing 17-7. The comeback starts when Coop gets his second touchdown of the game, an 11-yarder. Matt Gay then bangs in 2 field goals. And with about 9:47, I believe it was, left in the fourth, there was a brutal drop by San Francisco safety Jaquiski Tart that would have kind of maybe sealed this thing for the Rams.
There was 6 left?
Like 9 something left, and they were up 3.
Tough.
We would have been in a precarious situation,
Yeah,
for sure.
It would have been brutal because they would have had the ball on their over the 50. He drops it. The Rams stay alive. Ends up.
It's OBJ the next play in the soft spot cover 2, right?
I believe so. And then
Sideline.
Matt Gay bangs one in with 1:46 left. Still give Jimmy G 1:46 on the clock. He throws a pick on that third down and long. That was it. Taking the 20-17 Rams win. We're going to the Super Bowl.
But just we're
staying home.
Yeah.
First off, I got a question. What's McVay like in halftime when you guys are down? Is he like rah-rah guy?
No, it's pretty. It's
Al Pacino and Given Sunday?
You usually don't see. No, it's not usually not like the coaches. Once you get into the locker room, all the coaches go back. Right,
5 minutes to
make the adjustments, talk about whatever they want to make. So it's just the players in the locker room, right? Like
cool down.
Yep. It's
Motions.
usually pretty quiet. There's a few conversations happening on like stuff that they're seeing. Stuff guys are like with their respective
Line guys are with line guys. QBs are talking to pass catchers. Maybe
exactly. Some like we're communicating, figuring out our stuff. Coach comes down. It's kind of like, hey, it's almost always like first half's over. Here's the plan going forward. Right? It's like very direct. It's quick. Halftime is pretty quick. So he's pretty dialed in. Like, hey, this is the stuff that we were going to do. This is stuff we like going forward. And it's like, man, here's a quick message. Usually something to just like, hey, we're in control of this. We like what we've got going on here. We're right there. And pretty simple. And there's not a whole lot of fanciness to it.
Now, you guys win this game. You get the monkey off your back. You finally beat the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
How was it playing a Super Bowl in your home stadium? Was it an advantage because you guys got to stay at home and stuff and stay away from how was that? Because I mean, it takes away from the experience, but it's also kind of like a baby advantage because you get to be in your own space.
Yeah. I mean, I slept in my own bed until basically the night before the game, which is a huge advantage.
Amazing.
Like, I love that. We were in our own locker room. It felt what it did. I was thankful that I'd been to one before, even though I wasn't playing it. I saw how much of a buildup there is to the Super Bowl, and how much it lends itself. Like even when the game's about to start, they don't tell you like there's so much more that's about to happen. Still, they don't tell you The Rock's going to give a monologue.
Yeah,
out there as you're on the field getting ready for kickoff.
Yeah.
So like there's all this buildup, but then once you finally kick the ball off, it's the game, right? And so we had kind of been preaching like, hey guys, this is a game. There's gonna be so much buildup to this. Just let it be. Once the game gets here, it's the same game. It helped that we were in our own, like it was our own rhythm and routine of any other game. That kind of helped lend itself to like, hey, this is just like any other game we've played. Just go out there and play your game.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be. That's kind of an advantage. You get to stay away. You get to have your guys in their own area.
Yep.
Because half the time there's at least one or two guys that are out past curfew. Guy out in the Oakland Raiders went to Mexico. They never came. But like, there's always a story.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, it is nice.
Go ahead.
Teams just have to start. Owners of teams just need to start paying $7 billion to build a stadium, and then they can host the Super Bowl, and then get to the Super Bowl when it's your turn.
Or you could be an owner and you can have a city pay for your stadium and then have people come to your stadium that you own.
It's a tricky path. I think you just make the $7 billion. You make the billion yourself and do it yourself.
Exactly.
Amen.
I mean, if you can do that. Ms. Kraft owns it.
Start now.
Full out. What's up, Jackie? What's the aftermath of this?
Let's wrap up this game. I know we talked Super Bowl, but in this NFC Championship, Cooper finished with 11 catches, 142 yards, 2 tuds, and to make it even crazier, your third down stats alone, 7 catches, 108 yards, 2 TDs. Third down alone.
Clutch Gene.
Guy made a living.
Clutch Gene. And then the aftermath of this game, the Rams would go on to beat the Bengals 23-20 in Super Bowl 56. Cooper Kupp would win Super Bowl MVP. Andrew Whitworth would ride off into the sunset. The Rams would go 5-12 the next season. And on the Niners front, Brock Purdy would take them to the NFC Championship game the next season. Crazy.
Awesome. Let's name the game. We got 3rd and Cup.
Nice.
We're going to the Super Bowl. Suck it, San Fran. The 3rd time's the charm game. Or do you have any other ones that you like?
I'm partial to that 3rd one, but I mean,
Suck it, San Fran.
I'll say it for you if you don't want to.
But and do I have to say the name?
You don't have to say it,
say
but you
S
can
it.
pick the name. You got to pick it. You could say 3.
You can say option 3.
Or you have any off the top of your dome.
No, I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Suck it, San Fran. It is.
There it is. Lock it in.
Score the game. Is this the greatest game of all time? Let's score it. Stakes 0 to 10. Decimals okay. The stakes of this game.
What were the stakes?
Super Bowl's on the
You're-
line.
Super Bowl's on the line. The stakes are high. I mean, it's not a Super Bowl, so you can't go 10.
Nice.
Right? 9-5.
9-5.
Veteran move, knowing that it's not a Super Bowl, so it can't be a 10.
Veteran move.
Veteran move.
Star power in the building, on the
Oh,
teams.
we're in LA. We've got star power's high. We're going 9-2.
You got any star friends? You got any star friends from being out here in LA? Do you have any star friends? He's a Texan.
Zach King.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Dak?
Zach.
Zach King? Who's that?
You're too old.
Too old. Who's Zach King?
You guys will know me. You can look him up after this.
Thank
You
you.
guys will know his stuff. You know
Oh, he was like big on Vine.
yeah,
and
editing,
then, I
doing
know
all that
him.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
He does all
okay.
the like special effects stuff.
Oh, yeah,
he's
I know.
cool.
Man,
Yeah, you guys know.
Zach.
Really
So
good
many
dude.
stars.
Great family.
So many stars
Gameplay. How good was the game?
Gameplay. 0 to 10.
Well, you guys are
10-point
just
comeback.
killing us on this thing. I don't want to let you guys affect me, so I'm gonna say there was a high level gameplay aside from one play in the 4th quarter that you guys talked about. 8.7.
Nice.
8-7.
It's a good score.
It's a good score.
Shout out Rob.
That's right, 87.
I'm gonna need you guys to just make some explanations for your guys' scoring here. And it's like the name.
Name of the game. Suck it, San Fran.
It's a great name.
Great name.
It's a great name.
Pretty good name.
Am I scoring what the name of it is, or am I scoring the cultural impact of it?
So, both, right? So, like, some games have an incredible name,
Yeah.
and it just lasts with
Oh
you.
yeah,
Like, the immaculate
it
reception
won't be the
is
same
with
as
you.
that. Let's go 7.3.
7.3. What is that? What does that tally up to, folks?
See, yeah.
751. Where does it go
751.
in all the games that we've done? That's a good score.
That's
It's a good score. That puts us just ahead of the 2002 Western Conference Finals, Game 5, Lakers versus Kings, and right behind the Squish the Fish
0%
game.
surprised at what your first one is.
What are you talking about?
Two dynasties fighting each other.
The pass of the torch.
Passing of the torch.
The pass of the torch.
Tony Romo was calling it. He was on fire. Jules was converting.
And that was
touchdowns.
with a Chiefs fan.
That's right. Rob Riggle was our guest.
Yeah.
He's the one who scored it.
He gave it perfect tens. He was on a glacier though, so
Yeah, he kind of missed part of
watched
the
the
game.
game.
It's nuts to do a list and have 28-3 be number 2 on any list, but that's just how good that game was.
Could we miss anything?
No, I mean, guys.
You know what time it is?
You
You know what time it is?
It's coffee time.
Yes.
It's Dodo
I'm
coffee
freaking
time.
ready
Can you
for some coffee.
explain this?
Look, we started this coffee shop, Dodo Coffee Co. Website's launching soon. We've been roasting our own stuff. It's high-level coffee.
Where do you get the
it's-
beans from?
The ones that we're going to try today are Guatemala, single origin. The top tier stuff, invite me back to get the top tier stuff.
Yeah.
The top tier stuff is Brazil, Colombia mix.
Brazil. I'm
Very
going
good.
to Brazil next week.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm going to try some coffee.
You should.
Everyone go check out Dodo Coffee Company. And it's on Instagram.
It is.
It's on TikTok. We had TikTok yet?
I don't know if we got TikTok. I don't think so.
TikTok. We got TikTok. And
Fire
what is the
merch.
handle?
It's on internet.
It's everywhere on the internet. Dodo Coffee Co. Check it out. Coop, thanks for fucking doing this, man.
Thanks for having me.
Dope merch too.
Stud. That was a fun show.
That was really fun. Coop was amazing.
He really is a sharp kid.
He knows his stuff.
And he
wise,
prepares. You could tell he uses his time very efficiently.
and he takes his craft seriously.
Very seriously.
The grind doesn't stop. No days off.
He can be a football coach after it all.
I could see that, bro.
Yeah.
I could see it. He had some coach in him. How about that coffee you guys were sipping? How was it?
It was good coffee.
I need a sip of that after this.
Yeah. Dodo Coffee Co.
Shout out to Dodo, baby. Dodo like the bird.
I think they have a store?
DodoCoffee.co.
couple things
49ers team.
To touch upon before we hit the hotline here. We mentioned earlier in the episode this was a great coaching game. A lot of guys on both sides of the ball that went on to become head coaches. Let's give them their shine here real quick. Raheem Morris, DC of the Rams. He's most famous for being a better coach than Bill Belichick. We know that.
He's also a head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks for a couple of years.
That's right. Now he's the current head coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
And they drafted Penix over
That's right.
number 8.
That was
But they also paid Kirk Cousins
a lot of money.
You know, hey,
Hey, maybe it works. We don't know.
when they zig, you zag.
That's
Someone
right,
drafted
baby.
Kirk Cousins after they drafted Robert Griffin III and spent all those picks, and that didn't really work out for him, but it worked out for Kirk
Picks aren't
Cousins.
180 large boys.
May not have a first round pick next year with a little tampering action.
Tamp action.
Who else
Is
we
that
got
why they
here?
did it? That's why they did it.
Yeah, that's what people say. Kevin O'Connell, OC of the
KOC.
Rams,
Played with
KOC, former teammate, current head coach of the Minnesota
I
Vikings.
bet you we could get KOC in here.
That'd be
great.
cool. I'd like that. Do
I
some
hope.
coaching talk.
I saw him on a flight once recently, like probably the last 8 months.
Say what's up.
We were sitting next to each other.
That's hilarious. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, it may have been at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. So the odds are a little higher.
Higher.
First class guys. First class guys.
Yeah.
When you start flying between places like New York and LA or like Boston and LA and you're in first class, I bet you sit next to people you recognize quite a bit.
Not really. I try to get that pod.
The pods, you just in the
Those are tight.
zone. Mint, shout out Mint.
So I think I saw LeVar Burton on that was the last famous person I saw on a flight. Reading Rainbow.
Okay, more coaches.
more coaches.
Oh wait, hold on, Kevin O'Connell.
KOC.
Talking about drafting quarterbacks. Little JJ McCarthy action.
JJ
Ooh.
McCarthy.
Me and Jack saw Jim Harbaugh in the parking lot of the roast.
We did.
I saw Jim mid roast, mid joke. I looked at him like, oh, that's Jim Harbaugh in the middle of my head.
That milk drinker. Crazy guy.
And then Kyle Shanahan was there too.
He was
He
there.
was
Yeah.
wild. He was looking suited and booted. Mr.
He looked
Fresh.
good.
GQ over here.
GQ.
He said, I'm leaving my formal flat bill at home tonight. I'm letting the hair breathe, baby.
Coach Shanahan, man, he got some swag.
He does. Speaking of swag daddies, D'Amico Ryans was also in this game. He was the DC of the Niners.
D'Amico.
Now he's doing some cool stuff down there in H-Town.
Wearing the hell out of a long sleeve.
He is, man. Still looking
But
rough.
he keeps it. It's not skin tight, is it?
No, but it
No,
looks good.
you can still,
But you still see the shape.
definition.
Yeah, it's good.
I like that.
He
He's
still
kind of
looks
made it
like he
his
can go out and
thing.
play. He was 3-time All. I think he was like a 2-time All Pro.
He was SEC Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Pro Bowler, NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, first team All Pro in 07. He led the NFL in solo tackles in 06. That's pretty crazy.
Balling.
Yeah, balling
then there's more.
so damn hard.
There's more.
And there's more. Mike McDaniel, we all know him, the whiz kid down there in Miami. He was the OC of the Niners this year.
You think this was when he was in the press box just vaping, just
I'm sure
out
just
of
huge
his
clouds.
mind? Just vape central, no camera in that time. In the box, he just, yeah, let's go with the Ride 134 FO Ice. Hey, keep your eyes, wait up. Keep your eyes backside. Rangers personnel.
Oh, my God. I'd like to imagine that's exactly how it went down.
Probably exactly how it
Real
went down.
vapors. And then coaching under him was another guy we mentioned this episode, Wes Welker.
Wes,
A famous backwards hat coach.
backwards hat coach.
Wide
Wes.
receivers coach that year. Pretty crazy. And then,
I have to ask Colin Coward about that.
why?
Because Colin Coward hates people at the podium with the backwards hat.
I didn't know that.
Oh, it just went, yeah. Colin Coward, he talked about it. He hates when your quarterback has backwards hat at the podium. So I'm going to ask him, what does backwards hat on position coach mean?
Matty P was another guy.
Matty
Depends
P.
on the position.
Did that, yeah. And then to wrap it all up, this was a heck of a year for Cooper Kupp. He puts a bow on it, puts the cherry on top with Super Bowl MVP. But we can't forget, he was a Triple Crown winner with 145 receptions, 1,947 yards, 16 touchdowns. And then to put that in context, the last man to win the Triple Crown
Steve Smith,
in the NFL was Steve Smith Sr.
05.
Before that, Sterling Sharp. Before that, Jerry Rice.
Sterling
Before that,
Sharp.
Lance Allworth. And the list goes on and on. But in the MLB, 2012, Miguel Cabrera with Detroit. And
Did Barry hit that thing a few times?
Barry Bonds?
Triple Crown?
Nah, he's not on the list here. Yaz. Before that, it was Yaz, apparently, which is 67.
There's a lot of coaches on the CM team.
And then, it's crazy. And then the last horse racing Triple Crown was Justify
Like
in
a few years ago.
2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty recently,
But then,
which
hold
is
on.
kind of crazy.
Also American Pharaoh, too.
And American
I was
Pharaoh
hoping we'd
before
have
that.
more horse talk.
Yeah.
I would love to get a horse race on. I never was like a big, there's like guys that love the horses on the teams. Like Vrabel, Welker used to love, like those are horse. Terry Bradshaw's a big horse guy. Like those guys that usually.
Randy Moss, didn't he have a horse?
I
he
think there was
He's
one.
racing, yeah. Randy Moss racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Will Fork had horses. Like there's a bunch of dudes that like loved horse racing. I just like the movie Seabiscuit.
I'm with you.
Shout out Elizabeth Banks from Western Massachusetts.
Yeah, that was a great movie. Seabiscuit with Spider-Man. Toby
Maguire.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
Or the short-lived HBO series Luck. Remember that one?
Lots of horses died.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's go to the hotline.
Let's hit the old hotline. Remember that number is 424-291-2290.
If you had to pick one hit that was the hardest you'd ever been hit, which hit would that be? I personally think it may have been a Cam Chancellor hit in the 2014 Super Bowl, but that's just me. What you got?
Hardest hit. You think it's the Cam Chancellor hit. Well, that was a very hard hit, but I was expecting that hit. I got hit my rookie year when we were playing in Denver against Josh McDaniels when he was the head coach there, and they had those ugly mustard uniforms on in Denver, where they had like weird, it was like mustard yellow and brown. And Brian Dawkins lit me up. I saw a star for like 3 weeks. Like I had to teach myself how to catch with this thing. And then also Ed Reed lit me up on a post route in Baltimore in 12. And then Ray Lewis hit me twice pretty hard. I've already explained. One, I had J-Lo booty. Two, I had reset button.
What is J-Lo booty again?
Well, he kneed me so hard on my butt.
Oh,
that I had a hematoma. They had to drain my butt. I couldn't sit down for 3 weeks. Like I wouldn't have been able to play if we won that playoff game because like my butt blew up. Like it was so crazy.
Man.
Good question.
Hey, Mr. Edelman. Just had a question. What is your favorite route singular route that you've ever ran? And also, what is the most prepared? Who is the most prepared DB that you ever went against?
Favorite route, the read it route. We went over it with Coop. It's a one man, like it's pretty much a one man show. You win, like you can go. It's like 6-12. You could take it across, or you could bring it out to the bow. It's like a great man coverage route. We hit it a few times in the Super Bowl against the Rams, and then that's when we first put it in. I love that route, and the most prepared DB was always Darrelle Revis. He was always on balance, knew formation-wise what you guys ran. Situationally, he knew what concepts were coming. He knew your weaknesses. Like he was always very prepared on what was going on with the game plans.
How much individual scouting, like scouting against individuals, would you do? So if you're going to be matched up against
you do, it's so easy in the NFL because then you got guys that do all the homework and the cut-ups. So I'll go and I say I want to see every play targeted to Revis or cornerback on third down. Give me that of this season. I want to see the last season, and you sit and you just watch if he has an offhand jam, what he does with his legs, if he does the offhand jam, does he free his gait with you with certain moves? You're looking at all little tendencies of what guys do at the line of scrimmage, and then also the top routes. Does he like to undercut? Does he grab? You have to be physical with them. You can pick a lot of things up. How's this guy handle certain routes? Is he a game plan guy? So, like, is he going to watch my routes from last week? So if I marry my routes last week, is he going to run that route and then I can combo it and, like, counter it with a different route? Like, those are the things you watch.
Is that mostly on, like, all 22, or do you have, like, angles that are
all
more
all
isolated?
22 because you get the wide and you can see techniques. You need the back. They have a far back end zone shot. They have a close end zone shot for line play.
The interior.
And then you have the deep end zone shot where you can see everyone on the field. So you can see how a guy's lining up, what technique he is on you. Is he inside leverage? Is he outside leverage? Is he head up? That's the stuff you look at.
So
if I bring my split down, what does he do? Does he go, is he off and outside, or is he off head up, or is he off inside? So a lot of that's what you want to look at.
But you'd never really look at, like, or if there's angles that exist where it's a lot tighter, so you can see, like, hand movement or anything like that. You want the wider. You want to see how
you can see that you can see
that in the 22.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then you'll have like close-ups too. The guys behind the scenes that make cut-ups, they'll highlight and they'll give you like they'll have write-ups. Each scout has to do a write-up of each player. So you get these write-ups of each guy, where he went to school, what his story is. They'll give you background, like, his power and his strengths are he's got an offhand jam, strong at the line of scrimmage. He's terrible. His weaknesses, he's terrible with side-to-side movement. You have to get him running, so like you'll see the write-up, and then they can have a cut-up for the write-up, and then you can go and sometimes you just want to watch an overall game of how he plays, just him. How's he play in the run game? How does he play when the ball's not thrown to him? You know what I mean? See if you can lull guys to sleep and stuff.
Hey, who's better, you or Cooper Kupp all time?
All time in regular season, Cooper Kupp, man. Triple Crown winner.
That season, 145 catches.
All time regular season, Cooper Kupp.
Almost 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns.
But when it matters most, in the playoffs,
He still had
in the big games, I'm riding for my guy.
I think he had a great season.
I'm riding for my guy.
He's
That's
had
1
some
year.
yards.
That's 1 year. What about a body of work, baby?
My guy's good.
He's a stud. We're no either or, just studs.
We're different players.
Just studs.
Yeah, but I gotta ride for my guy. Come on, man. Kiss the rings.
Hot and ready. The sign's on. All right, thank you.
Glaze time.
Yo, Mr. Edelman. Name's Jake. Grew up in West Texas. I got to watch Wes Welker and Zach Thomas, those boys at the Red Raiders. Do you think that Wes Welker is the pillar of the position? What's your take on that? Dude was a game changer.
Yeah, Wes had a huge part of the whole slot position, but even before him, there was Troy Brown, Deion Branch. There's a lot of other guys that did it, But Wes was a kind of guy he's like a tweener almost. Like he was like a running back with his quickness and how he moved. You know, like he definitely helped create that position. Wes Welker is a pivotal for this whole slot movement and for guys like me that even got an opportunity. You know, guys that were stereotypically not ever seen as a pass catcher. He'd be more of a running back 10, 50, or 30 years ago, or you know what I mean? Even then, he was probably, you know, he helped create that. But it started with Troy Brown, Deion Branch, a lot of guys.
Him in that offense, 2007, kind of like put it on the map, but it was already there. Maybe
it was there.
Household name.
Yeah, that was when you pair it up. That's when you pair a really good slot with, you know, top 3, top 2 greatest receiver of all time on the outside that can just run. And so you're opening up levels. And then they had Dante Stallworth, who was also, he was a one at a lot of places for a long time before that. And he was fast and explosive. You had Jabbar, like they had so many weapons and so many spots that you couldn't just key out on one guy. So that's why he had monster. He was monster. He had monster years every year.
Spread them out. And the slot position's cool and all. But this guy's talking Zach Thomas. Let's talk about one of the glass great neck roll guys of all time. 5'11".
Yeah.
5th round draft pick. NFL Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a monster.
He's a beast, baby. Shout out Zach Thomas.
Yeah. Shout out Zach Thomas. I used to hear a lot about him just because he played in Dolphins a lot, and we used to watch a lot of install tape of how to run certain routes, and it'd be Welker always on Zach Thomas, and there'd always, you know what I mean?
Feels like a matchup.
Yeah. But man, what a game. Thanks again to Cooper Kupp, and be sure to check out Dodo Coffee Co.
DodoCoffee.co is the website.
DodoCoffee.co. That's been another episode of Games with Names. Subscribe on Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Comment a game you want us to do. And remember,
rate and review.
Remember to follow Games with Names on YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Snapchat. Leave a message on the hotline bling at 424-291-2290. We will see you guys next week. Games with Names is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.